Want to achieve network marketing success? Then you're in the right company. Hello, and welcome to Leave Nothing to Chance, hosted by networking marketing giant John Solleder. Learn everything you need to know about the network marketing space from somebody who's actually done it. Join us every week for front row seats as we feature some of the finest and most successful personalities in network marketing. Leave nothing to chance. Join us now.
Well, it is my privilege to introduce another long-term friend of mine in the network marketing industry, Kelvin Abron, to the call today. Kelvin, how are you?
I'm doing great, John. How are you?
I'm great. How's the weather in Boston? I thought it was a little hot yesterday.
It's very muggy, and it's muggy today too.
Wow. Well, it's weird.
You know, we enjoy it though.
Well, it's weird. It's like you guys got our weather, we got your weather. It's been like in the 70s here all week. So.
I mean, 95 yesterday. I mean, it's been beautiful.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know you've been involved in self-development for a long time, and I really want to do a deep dive with you today on some of what's been inspiring to you, and you've been an inspiration to me and to so many other people with your life story, and we'll get into that. But my first question for you is, in the recent book, Leave Nothing to Chance, what's your favorite principle and why?
Well, I can't pick one. I think I have to do 4 at once.
Okay.
Principle 1, wake up being excited. For me, I think that keep a lot of people in bed because they're not excited for the day. They dread the day. So they just kind of lay there and they don't want to do anything. And when I, read that principle, I was like, John got a very good point here. If you're not excited when you wake up? Why get up at all? So you got to be excited about what's going to happen today, what you're going to do today, and just enjoy life. And the second principle that I think they just work hand in hand is principle 3, the right mindset. Because if you wake up excited for the day and you have the wrong mindset, that ain't going to work out either. So you got to wake up excited for the day with the right mindset. And then when you get started, principle 4, you got to love people, because what's going to happen when you walk outside? You're going to see people. And if you in the people's business, you're going to have to talk to people. So you can't talk to people that you don't like. So you got to love the people. And I just thought that was very important. Actually, that was principle 9. Principle 4 was, to keep a balance. So after you do all that, you want to keep a balance, because especially if you're a family person like me, I have a family. So you don't want to do too much work and then don't see your family. Absolutely. Yeah. So I had to add all those. I couldn't just pick one.
Great. So let me ask you this, going back in time, what was that first book that somebody put in your hands? Maybe you tripped across it, maybe it showed up in your library, maybe you just don't know where it came from, but that first book that you read, that really you had that aha moment where you said, I can change my life with this idea or this principle. What was that first book?
Well, John, it's like this. The first book that was put into my hand, I couldn't see, right? Because I had lost my vision. And guess who gave me that first book? You did. Moving Up. I was looking at the book the other day and I said, I got to read this book. So that was the first book, self-development book. Because I was a techie. I was into technology and I was into financial. So I only read tech books and accounting books and stuff like that. So I never read a self-development book, that never crossed my mind. So that was the first book that was put into my hand, and I have to read it. So
that was a long time. That was been I want to say 2005. I think I wrote the first one. So
Exactly.
16 years. Wow, 16 years. Where those years go, right?
I'm telling you.
Unfortunately, but yeah, I remember that. We're going to come back to that a little bit about your health situation and how that's morphed in such a positive way. We're going to come back to that though in a few minutes. But if, for example, you were stuck on a deserted island tomorrow, they said, "Listen, you can go to this island. You can bring your Bible. We'll give you plenty of food, plenty of water, plenty of shelter, but you can only bring 3 books with you." What would those 3 books be in addition?
Well, John, I guess I have to bring that Moving Up book. That'll give me plenty of time to read it. And I like the greatest salesman in the world. And I also like, Think and Grow Rich. There's a lot more books I probably want to bring with me, but those would be the 3.
Those would be 3 good ones. Three of my favorites, certainly. So let's talk a little bit now. You've been doing network marketing now for how many years?
Well, I my first network marketing experience, which I didn't really take that serious because I was working for the phone company as an engineer at the time. But it seems like it was something everybody was getting into, and that was in 1989 when I joined A.L. Williams.
Okay.
So I did that for a year. I made about $12,000, but again, I was just doing something. So that didn't last, so that was my first experience with network marketing.
Interesting. So, okay. So that's, what are we talking now? 30 years, right? 99. Yeah. 30 plus years. So you were exposed, and that was a great teacher. I mean, Art Williams was a great teacher. I read I was never in his company, but certainly I read one of his books. All you can do is all you can do, but all you can do is enough. And I never really got the title when I read that until now that I'm older. Like, I read it probably when I was, in my 20s, and it's just like I had all the time in the world. And now all of a sudden you get older, as we know, and it's like, wow, less time to.
Right. I never read the book, but guess what? I use that phrase all the time.
Yeah. Well, it does make, it makes sense probably at any age, but it makes more sense as we get down the road here. So let's talk about this a little bit. With your networking experience, and I know your current business is exploding, which is great. Congratulations. And I know you've been keeping me abreast of it. And I know you got an organization growing in not only in the United States, but over in Europe and all over the place. So congratulations. It's great to see the growth in your business. But let's talk about this. The world's obviously gone through an interesting time with this last 16, 17 months with, the pandemic. And I think there's a lot of people that are looking at network marketing that maybe previous, for whatever reason, they didn't need to. So let me set this up as I ask it to you this way. If you had, let's say, a dad and his son, let's say a 25-year-old young man who probably has all the technology skills, right? Can, take his iPhone and, launch the space shuttle with it, right? But maybe he's even well educated. But all of a sudden, because of the pandemic, life kind of isn't working out the way that he wants it to. And his 60-year-old dad, who maybe was in management, maybe was in sales at a high level for a company, and all of a sudden the pandemic once again has affected his income. And they're walking past your house today and they say, let me go over and see Kelvin and see what Kelvin can counsel us on this network marketing industry that he's in and excited and excelling in today. Why should a 25-year-old and a 60-year-old, 2 very different age groups, take a look at our industry?
I'm going to start with the 65-year-old since I'm 63. And I see a lot of people my age, after working 35, 40 years, thinking they was planning for their retirement and wind up going back to work. Now, I've never liked seeing, especially like in Walgreens, you see people back at work. So this industry that we're in is the perfect industry for a person who's looking at retirement, because let's face it, most people don't have $1 million saved up when they retire. So how long is that money going to last? They're going to have to budget that money. And quite frankly, most people are living check to check while they're working. So what's going to happen when they retire? So this type of industry, now I'm going to talk to because it happened with me. If it wasn't for this industry and what I'm doing, because I was laid off from my job, right? When I was working at the Boston Stock Exchange. And if I didn't have this network marketing experience, if I didn't get involved with this network marketing experience, that could be me looking for another job right now. So it's very important for a person looking for a retirement to have something like this passive income where they won't have to go to work. They could still have that money coming in. So for a person 60, 65 or older, or, this is a great industry for them. And I would highly, express that this is something they should take a look at. And the 25-year-old, now that's a no-brainer because of social media, the internet, and what's going on. And they're so savvy with that, social media, and a lot of, young kids, they don't want to work for anybody. They want to do what they want to do on their phone, so they can build a great empire, in network marketing, with the skills that they have, and during the pandemic, you couldn't meet people, but I think they was living that before the pandemic. They was always on their phones anyway. They wasn't really out meeting people. Everything they did was on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. So, this is just their life. And they was already building businesses on these social media platforms. So network marketing is a no-brainer. And I have a lot of young ones now, with me. And it works very well because they know things that you don't know.
Well, like I know, for example, you've got a group in Atlanta, Georgia, I believe it is, that your niece is how old? I spoke to her once. She's fairly young.
Well, my niece is 38.
30, okay. She's older than 25.
Yeah, she's older than 25. But we have people in her group, 19, 18 years old, and young and just slightly, older. It's a very exciting group. I just enjoy watching them work.
Well,
and
at that age, that's all they have to do is work.
I know, and they just move so fast and they do things differently than, the way we do it, because of that platform, because of how they do things on the internet. I'm just enjoying it. They kind of woke me up and, I say, hey, I had to take a second look at what I'm doing here. So you got to get those young people involved because face it, this is their future.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you're right. I mean, I think it's funny now, being the age that I am, I'm a couple years behind you here. I just turned 60. And I think the guys I grew up with in the business, we were all in our 20s when we started. We were, 20, 21, 22, 23. And those of us that stayed in, and a lot of people obviously didn't. But some of the guys that I worked with, way back in the 80s, they're still at it, almost 40 years later. And we grew up in it. And now this is that next generation that can do the same thing. But to your point, because of technology, they're able to do it so much faster than we were. I mean, I didn't know anybody out of my area when I grew up. I knew people in New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey. I knew a few people in New York, I guess. But, you didn't know anybody. These days, these kids, they pick up the phone and they have friends in other countries and other cities and everything else. It's incredible to watch. But what would your advice, let's go back to that 60, 65-year-old person for a minute, because that's a group that I also see as low-hanging fruit, if you will, in network marketing. And to your point, you started to talk about retirement savings, for example. So many people that were on track to maybe retire, in the next, 5-10 years because of this situation, have lost those contributions that they would have been making to their SEP retirement account or their work-related retirement, pension plan. Your advice to them, because they got to compress time, right? I mean, they got to do in 5 or 10 years what that 25-year-old has a lifetime to do. What's your fastest advice for them to go fast when they get in business?
Well, let me tell you, John, I just had that conversation earlier today with a group, a networking group that I'm part of. And you have a lot of the financial planning guys there. You know, their target market is really young people, but they target everybody. Put your money in here for 30, 35 years. Face it, we don't have 30, 35 years to save any money. So I, when it was my turn to speak, I said, look, a lot of you guys are my age. Okay, you really don't have 30 years to plan for your retirement because that could be next week. So the best way, you could get the money that you need to live on is to join me in network marketing. And I will work with you and show you the ropes, show you what to do. And depending on I always say, depending on your network or the people you know or the people that trust you, it could go really quickly, you know. So yeah, that was a great topic this morning. Because if you don't have a savings, if you don't have a 401k today, you don't have 30 years. So
Mm.
this is the best way, and probably the next let's say 3 to 5 years, there's a good chance that you can have a nice residual income that's going to get you through, for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Outlive your money. That's what you want. You want to outlive your money.
Exactly. You want to leave some for the kids or grandkids if you can, So let's kind of change gears here a little bit. You have had several careers besides network marketing, and you've also had something that you've overcome that is amazing. And when we first met, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you were termed legally blind at that time.
Yes, I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, RP. It's a form of macular degeneration, and they just discovered that when I was on the Boston Police Department. So the department doctor noticed that I wasn't seeing everything around me the way I should have. So they sent me to a specialist, and I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa. But I was 28 years old, so it wasn't really affecting me then. But they told me at the age of 40, I was going to lose my vision. And in 1999, because I was diagnosed in 1987. So in 1999, that's what happened. I lost my central vision. I was just left with my peripheral vision. Yeah, so that's what happened there. And a year prior to that, I had COPD, lung problems because I used to be a smoker. So I guess I earned that one.
Well, you changed your life, and I think it's important that that you can motivate people with your story, because you decided to make some lifestyle changes. Obviously, give up smoking, which was one really smart thing to do. But in addition to that, you kind of got into an exercise program and a nutrition program and some other things. But you want to elaborate a little bit on that, because I think it's interesting, because so many people listen to the podcast, and obviously it's geared for network marketing and network marketing businesses, but a lot of people are experiencing similar challenges in their life, and you were given a huge one. Your family was young at that time. Your daughter was young, and you overcame that, by taking personal responsibility for your health. Talk about that a little bit. What were some of the things that you did, that you determined were going to get you past that, and also obviously the mental part, because that's not good news when somebody tells you you're going to lose your eyesight, needless to say. So talk about that.
Well, when I came down with the COPD, I kind of accepted that, because there's no cure for COPD. They put me on all these lung medicines and stuff like that. I didn't know any difference. That's what you did. You went to your doctor, they prescribe you these things to help you get by. But when I lost my vision, that was devastating to me. Because like you said, I had a young family. I was management at the Boston Stock Exchange. I was in charge of the trading floor and the IT, telecommunications, and the facilities. So I had great responsibilities. So it seems like, even though I probably was in denial that my vision was going, we was going through the Y2K upgrade. And then after we completed that in the, in the Boston Stock Exchange Open for that Monday morning after, during Y2K. I had dropped my Nextel phone. Those Nextel phones back then was big as a walkie-talkie. And I had dropped it straight down and I could not see it. And I'm feeling around and my supervisor was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm looking for my phone. I dropped my phone." He said, "It's right there in front of you." So what happened is I looked up at him and he kind of disappeared. But then but as I was looking at him, I seen my phone because I had peripheral, no central. So he said, "You're blind. You need to go see your doctor." So I went to my doctor, which they was telling me this all along, since I was 28. And they told me, "Oh, nothing we could do. There's no cure for this, blah, blah, blah." They want to do experiments with me and everything. And after looking at the side effects of the experiment, I just said, I'll just be blind because I'm not dying. So this is something I guess I'm going to have to deal with. So I went back and I told my supervisor. He said, "Look, I won't say nothing to human resources. You go get the proper paperwork you need to get registered with the state of Massachusetts. And then once you get that paperwork, then me and you will walk into human resources. Then they can't touch you." Now that's a great boss. So I was relieved because of that. So I had my job. I wasn't losing my job, But in 2007, guess what? I can't see, and they closed their doors. But when I joined the current company I'm with, which is a nutritional company, I joined in 2005. I had started taking up, their nutritional products. And, 3 to 4 months, my lungs was good. I had no problem with the lungs, didn't see any results with my eyes. But, I was satisfied, and my dad had some health challenges, that my surroundings seen that he recovered from. So a lot of people was inquiring on, what is this? And then, like I said, in 2007, when they shut the doors, and I called my wife, I said, "Look, I'm out of work. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't see. I don't see how I'm gonna go look for another job." And she said, "Oh, don't worry. That's great. We'll just go on vacations." And she hung up. So I figured maybe she didn't hear what I just said. So she came and picked me up. I put my boxes in the trunk. I said, You didn't understand what I said?" I said, "What am I going to do?" She said, "And you talk about going on vacation." She said, "Yeah." And she reached into the glove compartment and I had a check for $8,000 from the company that I'm currently with. Right. And I said, I was like, "How long has this been going on?" And she just smiled at me. And then the next month, I got a check for like $14,000. So I said, "Okay, so I ain't got to worry about that either." So because of that, John, if you're talking to a 60-year-old or anyone who might just get let go from their job, because the phrase, "my job." No, it's not your job. You're renting your time to somebody.
Wow.
That's what you're doing. You're
Great point.
renting your time for somebody. And when they through with you, they let you go. So my job was never my job. But guess what? This business I'm in now, I could say is mine because it's going to be here as long as I work it.
Exactly.
And because of that, in 2007, I never went back to work. I did some crazy stuff, like I became a personal trainer. I said, "Okay, now I got this nutritional thing going on. Why not get the fitness thing going on?" So I became a personal trainer. So I did that. And the only one I trained was my wife and myself. And then I became a massage therapist, right before the pandemic. I said, "I got all this time on my hands. What else can I do?" And my wife got me massaging her all the time. She said, "Well, won't you go get licensed?" So now she got a personal massage therapist. So this industry, network marketing, give you freedom. You know how people say time is money? I say, nah, because you're chasing that. So what good is it? But for us, time is freedom.
Hmm.
You got your money chasing you, you know, and that's how it should be. Because we shouldn't have to work for somebody, services and products, everybody needs that, and we have both of those in our industry, so it's the best industry. And I think because of this pandemic, it's going to even get even better because people are now looking. And because of the pandemic that we're in, people are looking for health.
Hmm.
So I'm in a great industry.
Yeah, you are.
And I'm with a great company, and I'm with some great people.
Exactly. So let's stay on this for 1 second though. So when you made that determination, okay, I'm sure that mentally, it kind of probably hit you like a ton of bricks. Like, to be blind at a fairly young age, I can't even imagine it. Thank God. And in my case, never had experienced that. But that had to hit you like a ton of bricks. But you made a decision to be a fighter. And one of the things I admire so much about you is the fight in you. You never give up, and you figured out not only through nutrition, through supplementation, but also through exercise and diet, how to take care of yourself. And here you are now in your 60s. And what's your eyesight now? How is it doing?
It's probably a little more than 20 over 50.
Okay.
My font have to be, bigger than most people. But then I find that most people can't see anything anyway. They're all wearing glasses. My age.
Including me.
I said, well, maybe that's not a big deal, but my distance is probably like 25 feet clear.
Wow.
But I could deal with that, because before I had no distance. I just had for peripheral.
Mm.
So this made a big difference in my life, because I had to go to Little Rock, Arkansas, to the school for the blind to learn how to walk with, the cane, to walk with a dog. But I think the best thing was a donkey. I think a donkey's smarter than dogs. They make a better walking donkeys.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
So I had to learn those things, and then I was going to revisit my field, in engineering. So they had me learning how to, feel around on computers and touch stuff. I was very miserable.
Mm.
And I said, am I really going to set myself up for this? And while I was there, I had already won the trip to Mexico. That was during the swine flu, you remember?
Oh, yeah.
So, so I was thinking about that. I said, why am I here? But I felt like I wasn't really sure about, even though my wife showed me those checks, but I said, I better secure myself still. So I decided to go away for a year, to a blind school, so, just in case my vision go backwards, I'm going to have to be able to do something because I have a family to take care of.
Mm.
And because I'm very family oriented, my job, if I don't do anything, I got to make sure my family have food and a roof over their head and clothing, and that was my job because that's how I was brought up. And that's all I could think about.
Exactly.
So there was nothing, whether I got my vision back or not, there was nothing would have kept me from doing that. That's one thing that I do. When I get knocked down, I get up.
Yeah, you do. And I admire that. And just to tell people, I knew Kelvin then. Okay, we met in 2005, and he was blind. First time I met you, you were walking down the hall with your wife and your daughter, and you had the cane, the cane that blind folks have. And to see this man today not only be a great leader in his company, great leader of his organization, but an inspiration to everybody who meets him, not only the people in network marketing, but the people certainly that he's associated with there locally in his community in Boston, Mass, and the people who watched him fight through this. And here he is. He's strong. He's smart. He's building a great business. He's having a good time doing it. He's watching his grandchildren grow up. He's doing all the things that any person would want to do. And you've been such an inspiration to me. I think sometimes when I go through stuff, I'm thinking, well, you know what? I know what you went through, and just fight through it. So I just want to share that with you, how you've inspired me and how you've inspired so many of other people with the fight that you have and the never giving up. So I just want to share that with you, how much that's meant to me over these years that we've known each other.
Yep, and thank you. And you inspired me too, because I know your story too with your legs and stuff. So,
Yep.
You could really appreciate a person who don't look for self-pity and excuses.
Yeah, exactly.
Why they can't do things.
I think Jim. Go ahead.
Not finished.
I was just going to say, Jim Rohn used to say, all excuses are equal. And, if you're good at making excuses, you're good at making excuses. And, what does that get you? Nowhere, so.
Absolutely nowhere.
Exactly. So let's wrap up here. I'll give you the second to last word. Any advice once again to people, because once again, there's so many people hurting right now. This pandemic has hurt so many people in so many ways, obviously not just in terms of health, but in terms of psychology, where they feel, what's next. And, we're in a business, you and I are in a business of inspiring people to use the self-development tools that are out there, books like Leave Nothing to Chance, books like, Moving Up that I've written, and some of the other books that we mentioned today, certainly to inspire themselves to move forward in their lives. But, what's your final word of advice, for people listening that perhaps they're in the industry, but the industry's not in them yet. They haven't really said, hey, I really do want to build a network marketing business. What's your advice to really lock in and go for it?
Well, I'm going to share with them my experience because of these self-development books. Like I said, I never read any self-development books until recently. And it really helps your mindset. And by reading these books, I found out a lot of more Bible principles. I was like, oh, wow. I really didn't know that, because I never read these books. And it gives you inspiration. It gives you hope. The world don't give you a lot of hope. But when you read these self-development books, it gives you hope to be able to do what you seek out to do. It gives you the ability to dream about where you want to be in life. It's just, I can't really explain it. It's just like a whole new world for me. My wife even said, I'm a better person. And a lot of people I know said that, oh, since you've been doing these books, you think differently. Everybody say when they look at me, I look so mean all the time. I think lately my face don't look so mean because I'm thinking about something I read. And then when I think about something I read in these self-development books, I'm thinking about, oh, this is the same thing I read in the Bible. Because one of the books that I read, and I think is a very great book, it is Bible based, is The Greatest Man That Ever Lived. And you know who that is. It's Jesus Christ. And it's just so inspiring to know that there's something better than just what we got right here. And it's inspiring to know that you could make your life better than it is. But you just have to get up, read the right books, learn the right things, get the right mindset, and get out there and talk to people.
Exactly.
Because it will happen.
Exactly. Well, that's as easy as it really is. So I want to thank you once again, Kelvin, for your inspiration. I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank you for your words of wisdom today to new people, older people, existing people in our great industry. This is John Solleder. I want to thank you all for your time today. And our books, as we've mentioned here a few times today, Leave Nothing to Chance, and also Moving Up 2020. You can get them on Amazon. They're in English as well as Spanish. You can also digitally download them if you want it to your Kindle or whatever. and our podcast, which is called Leaving Nothing to Chance. And we archive all of these shows, by the way. So from our very first show that we did back last March to now, every show is archived on leavingnothingtochance.com. So if you missed one, if you're new to the show, you can go back and you can listen to so many great guests that we've had, like Kelvin, on before. So please feel free to do that. So once again, I want to thank you for your time today, Kelvin. Thank everybody for listening. And till next week, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Leave Nothing to Chance. If you want to know more about what it takes to succeed in the network marketing space, join us again next week for another amazing episode. For additional resources and to connect with John Solleder, visit leavingnothingtochance.com. Don't forget to leave a review, and we'll see you next time.